Hi everyone, this is Angela from Hemisphere Dancer Wellness and Travel, and thanks for joining today for this beginning level mat short flow. We're going to begin on our back today. We'll go ahead and keep the knees bent and feet flat. And from here, we're just going to go ahead and start with some small bridges. We're going to go ahead and to warm up for our bridges, we're going to take a little pelvic tilt. We're going to go ahead and imagine we have a marble on our belly button. We're going to roll that marble up towards our sternum and tuck the pelvis as we do. And then we're going to roll that imaginary marble down towards our pubic bone, letting the back arch. And just sending a few times in these two directions, exhaling as we allow the pelvis to tuck under, rolling that marble towards your belly button, and then again, arching, letting the marble roll towards your pubic bone. So just getting a little bit of movement in our lower back, loosening up those hips just a moment. And then we're going to go ahead and now we'll take it as we go into rolling that marble towards our belly button. We're going to go ahead and do what we call imprinting to press the low back into the spine and into the mat, and then roll up one vertebrae at a time into our bridge. We're going to inhale here at the top, taking a little hold. And then we're going to exhale, starting right from the rib cage, trying to keep my hips as high as possible as I roll back on down. As I come back down, I'm going to come back down to a neutral pelvis where I'm not either tucked or arching my back. And from here again, I'm going to exhale, imprinting, pressing my low back into the ground as I start to peel the vertebrae up one at a time off of the mat. I'm coming up just about as high as my shoulders. Just to the base of my shoulder blades, so I have a nice diagonal from my knees down to those armpits. We'll go ahead and exhale, lowering back down. So I'm going to think about my exhaling as I'm breathing, inhaling at the bottom, exhaling to roll back on up, inhaling here at the top, and exhaling as I lower back down. Get everyone one more time like this. Exhaling, rolling up through the spine. Inhaling here at my top. And then exhaling to lower back on down. We're going to take a one-legged bridge. And so I'm going to go ahead and keep my right foot on the floor, remembering my left leg to 90-degree angles or tabletop. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to press into my right foot as I lift my spine up and my hips up off the ground. Inhaling at the top. Exhaling to lower. Sometimes I like to, in one-legged one, keep my hands on my hips so that I can feel if my hips are dipping or twisting. Exhaling to lower back down. Inhale, exhaling, pressing to lift. Inhaling here at the top, exhaling to lower. Inhale, exhale, press to lift. Exhaling back to lower. Again, we're going to exhale, pressing to lift those hips. Inhale at the top, exhale to lower. We're going to go ahead again, exhale, pressing to lift. Inhaling at the top, exhaling to lower. And one more time, exhaling, pressing to lift. Inhaling at the top, exhaling to lower. Here we're going to go ahead and change to our second side. And we're going to press into the left foot and lift those hips. Again, watching that both sides of my hips are still even up in the air. Exhaling as I lower. Inhale, exhale to press and lift. Inhale, exhaling to lower. And again, inhale, exhaling on up. Making sure the shoulders are nice and relaxed. Exhaling back down. Pressing into that foot as you exhale to lift. Inhaling and then exhaling back down, keeping the core really strong, using those exhales to pull in the low abdominals. And exhaling back down. Inhale, exhale, pressing to lift up. Exhaling back down. Taking last two, inhale, pressing to lift on up. Exhaling to lower. And one more time, inhaling, exhaling to lift. And back on down. Hug the knees into the chest, taking a little rock side to side, just to releasing the hips and the low back. From here, we'll take a little twist. We'll let our arms go out to the side legs and tabletop. We'll let the legs twist over to the right, trying to keep both shoulders glued down to the mat. letting the legs hover, and then I'm going to take them back up as I exhale, pulling my low abdominals in. Ribs are connected down to the mat as I twist over to my second side. And then coming back up across, going back over to my first side one more time, twisting, and back on up, and exhaling as I go over, taking a breath here, and then exhaling to pull my low belly abdominals in to come back down. We're going to take our single leg stretch. So single leg stretch, we have our right leg in and our left leg out. Head in the full version is up off the floor, trying to look out between the legs, watching that we're not kind of having the head back here, chin leading. Inhale here, we're going to exhale, changing sides. Inhale, exhale to change, alternating legs, changing sides. Each time we exhale, we pull those low abdominals in. If you feel it in the neck and shoulders, place the head back down. That is not going to be, it's not kind of a weakening out or cheapening out. What you're going to do here is really train the body so that you want the core to be doing the work, not your neck to do the work. Again, the full version, we're trying to have the neck lengthened, looking out through the legs, reaching that leg nice and long like it's going to tap the wall away from you. One more time each side. And then we're going to go ahead and we'll rest down and take the knees back into the chest for a little rock side to side. We're going to take our single straight legs. So bringing both legs up. Let's take a flexed foot today for some extra calf stretch. We're going to hold behind our right leg. Yes, the full version holds a little bit lower, but I find a lot of times we end up with shrugged shoulders. So you can hold a little closer to the knee. Inhaling, we're going to round on up. So we exhale, take another inhale to prep. 2 exhales. Inhaling to change sides. Shoulders stay down away from the ears. This can be done with the hands supporting the head and neck as well. Watching that we're staying in that neutral pelvis. We're not coming so far back with the leg that it takes us into a tuck of our pelvis. We can put the head back down too, and that will encourage a little bit deeper work in our transverse abdominal muscles. Strong exhales. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Each exhale pulls that low belly in. One more on each side. And last one left. Resting down again, knees into the chest, rocking side to side. Let's take our double leg stretch today. So we're going to take this with a modified version with our hands behind our head, rounding on up as we're working at a little bit of a more beginner level for today. So here we're going to keep the head behind, hands resting, head resting into the hands, and we're going to reach the legs on out as we exhale. Inhale, folding back in. I want to imagine we have tree roots keeping our core nice and strong and down as those legs extend out. Exhaling as we reach out. Hands are helping to keep the neck from overworking. Low belly, exhaling, pulling in. Inhaling, coming back. Exhaling, pulling in. Inhaling back. Exhaling. This can also be done with the head down. In. Today we're not doing the full version, so we will see that full version in another video. Exhaling back, coming back just to your tabletop, watching the legs don't come too far into the chest, taking you out of your neutral pelvis, out, back in, and one more time, out, back in. Hug those knees to the chest, little rock side to side. Because we have limited time today, we're going to go ahead and roll on up to sitting. What we're going to take is our some work on our hands and knees. And while some of these exercises are technically not Pilates mat exercises, they're good warm-up exercises for some of our mat work. So we're going to start on hands and knees, taking a little cat stretch. Typically when we think about cat stretch, we think about stretching between the shoulder blades, but I want you to shift your focus down to the low back today and try and think about exhaling and pulling the low belly in as you cat stretch. And then as you inhale, we're going to come to our cow stretch. Often we think about our low back. We have a lot of flexibility in that low back, but can we, instead of releasing fully in that low back, can we soften between the shoulder blades and get a little more stretch in the upper back where we're normally tighter? Exhaling, lower belly pulls in that cat, and softening between the shoulder blades while we keep the core supported in our cow. Let's take it again one more time. Exhaling and inhaling. Then we're going to come to a table back, so our neutral back. And as we're here, we're going to just start with just a little reach of our opposite arm and leg. We're going to take our right arm and left leg reaching out. Again, I don't want to go too high. I don't want to drop into my back. I want to keep my core strong and supported. And then I'm going to come in, and I'm going to take my left side. I'm going to reach on back. Core is supported, long back here. Don't want to see this part to crunch. Back in, first side again. Inhaling, reaching back. Exhaling, coming in. And then again, reaching on back, using that core to keep the table back long and in. This time we're going to reach on out with our right arm and left leg, and we're going to do a little lift and lower just of that leg. I want to keep we can do this with both hands on the ground as well. My low back is still lengthening. And good. And we're going to take our second side, reaching it back. Do a little lift and lower. Can have their arm out for a little additional challenge, or that hand can come back down. Either way, I'm trying to keep this lengthened and lifting just from the leg. And one more. Then let's take it back to keep the toes together, take the knees apart, sitting back into a child's pose stretch. Reaching those hips back towards the wall behind you. Taking one more breath there. And we're going to go ahead and come down to lay onto our belly. And we're going to take a little swan variation. So we're going to take our arms just a hair wider than our mat. What I want to think about is pressing my pubic bone towards the mat so I lengthen this low part of my back. I want to try and keep pulling my belly button up off the floor as much as possible. And I'm going to lengthen on up. Upper body lifts as I inhale, exhale as I lower. And again, I'm going to go ahead and lift now just the legs. Exhaling to lower. Again, I'm trying to keep this core strong as I lift. So it's not going to be a huge range of motion. As I lift the legs, again, I want to keep lengthening in my back. Reaching out more than I am high. Upper body again. Lowering down. And lower body again. Back down. One more time. Upper body lengthening up. Shoulders are open. The hands can be on the floor, but I'm not using them to push up. And legs. One more time again, lengthening in those low backs. And down. Good. Coming from here. Let's take the arms overhead to a diagonal. So take the feet a hair wider. I'm going to take a right arm, left leg, again lifting to reach. And then what I'm going to do here is we're going to let's pulse this side of this diagonal. And as I pulse that diagonal, I want to watch that I'm not crunching in my low back. So I keep pulling my low abdominals in. And then I'm going to rest that down. This is a preparation for our swimming exercise. I'm going to keep my left arm and right leg now lifting. Shoulders are down, away from the ears. I'm trying to keep my low back nice and long and lifted. And then let's come back and stretch that back again. Coming back into your child's pose stretch, sitting back over the heels, taking a moment to breathe into the hips and into the back. And then we're going to go ahead and take just a couple of our side leg work just to finish off with. So from here, we're going to let our head rest onto our arm. Our top leg is going to lengthen out just a few inches off the bottom leg, and my bottom leg's going to bend slightly to give me a little more stability. I want my hips stacked here. I also want to keep long on the side of my body. I don't want this top hip to kind of crunch up in. So I want to imagine somebody's lengthening my leg all the way out and down. From here, I'm going to swing this forward with a flexed foot, and I'm going to take it back with a point. I can use this top hand for some support. Swinging forward with a flex, back with a point, and again, keeping my core really strong as this leg swings forward and back. I'm trying not to cave in when I come forward with the leg, and as I swing it back, I'm trying not to roll forward, letting my shoulders go. I'm trying to keep that core really stable. Breathing as I go, inhaling in one direction, exhaling in the other. I encourage you to play with what feels more stable for you. And exhaling, good. And then we're going to take the leg back to center, just reaching straight down in line with your mat. We're going to flex the foot to lift, point to lower. So I'm not coming really high for this, right? I'm not trying to lift way up here. So I don't want this part to shorten, and I don't want to move my pelvis at all. So it's going to feel a little smaller, and that's okay. Exhaling, flexing to lift, pointing to lower. Staying really long in that space between my ribs and my hips. Flexing to lift, pointing to lower. Flexing to lift, pointing to lower. One more time, flexing to lift and pointing to lower. Good. From here, we're going to take small little baby circles with that top leg. I'm going to keep my foot flexed with my toes pointing straight ahead, straight forward, not up towards the ceiling for right now. And then reverse direction. And then we're going to go ahead and bend both knees, and we're going to come to our back. We're going to take that leg we were just working and cross it over for a little number 4 stretch for our hips. You can always add a little rock side to side here if that feels good. Just breathing into those hips and into the back for a moment. And then we're going to come up and come to our second side. So when we lay on this second side, again, giving yourself a good setup. And we're going to lengthen out with that top leg. It's going to swing forward with a flex. And it's going to come back with a point. And forward with a flex. And back with a point. Again, watching that I'm not rolling forward or backwards in my torso. That my shoulders are nice and stacked. That I have a long side body. Back with a point. Forward with a flex foot. Back with a point. One more time, forward flex and back to point. From here, coming straight on down, we're going to flex to lift, point to lower. As I'm here, I want to keep my hips nice and long, lengthen side body, flexing to lift, pointing to lower, flexing to lift. Watch that I'm not rolling back as I lift, pointing to lower, flexing to lift, pointing to lower, flexing to lift, pointing to lower, and again flexing to lift, pointing. Good. With the feet flexed, we're going to do our small baby circles, trying to keep the core super stable, making sure you're breathing on this one, just breathing naturally, and reversing direction. And then go ahead and bend that leg. We're going to take this top leg and bring it over our bottom leg, and just taking a little stretch on in, breathing into the hips, into the back. You can always add a little rock side to side. And then we'll make our way up to sitting. And we'll go ahead and finish there for today. Thank you so much, and until next time, have a great day.